evening, everyone. I was commenting on what great rule followers you are because we told you to come in. Boy, you came in, you quieted down, you got ready to go, so we really appreciate that. I really want to thank you for coming this evening. This is our first ever President's Welcome, and our hope is that you walk away with some new information about Mount Notre Dame. I would like to introduce one of our A-Team ambassadors and students, CC Hampton, who will begin our event with a prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good and loving God, we thank you for the unique gifts of each member of the class of 2023, and for the privilege of walking with them during these immensely important years of their lives. We humbly ask you to bless the parents of our freshmen and transfer student parents, with wisdom to guide their daughters, with courage and patience to face the challenging moments, with laughter to rejoice in the journey, and with trust that you, our good God, are with them every step of the way. May the parents gathered here and all the parents in our community find a home at MND. May we together seek your love and grace in everything we say and do. We pray in the name of Jesus, our master teacher. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Cece. Cece informed me that she was just here for another event we had, a panel for information night for people interested in learning more about Mount Notre Dame. So I said, and now we have her for prayer, so she just does everything for us, so thanks, Cece. I would like to start by introducing who's going to be speaking to you tonight. Myself, I'm Judy Gerwe. I am the president of Mount Notre Dame. I am in my 5th year, but more importantly, I am an alumna from Mount Notre Dame way back in 1978. So you can do the math and figure out how old I am. That makes it hard for me. Hard for me, not for you. We also have with us Mrs. Karen Durkers-Day. She is our principal and will be speaking with you, and Mrs. Rose Eckhoff, who is our director of advancement, who will also be speaking. We decided to have this program to help families learn more about Mount Notre Dame and how we operate. So first, I'd just like to ask, how many of you are new to Mount Notre Dame? Could you raise your hand? And if we look around, we see that that's a lot. So we're so happy that you joined us. I hope you have already found that your first meeting with your daughter's map guide was helpful. I have 4 map people myself. And please know that as guides, we will work with your daughter throughout the year. We will also be checking in with you in October. You should receive a phone call from your guide. And we are great assets if you have any questions or concerns. So please make sure you take advantage of that special bond you have with that one adult person here. I think Kyle is going to be, I should have introduced you, Kyle. I'm sorry, this is Kyle Brenyov. He is our creative director, and he gets to be here tonight to tape and make clicks. So we're ready, Kyle, if you are. Thank you. I'm going to start just with our mission statement, and I know you've seen this before. I just want to point out to you that our mission statement has many components. And the ones that I would just like to point out to you is the Catholic faith piece. We are a Catholic school. The Sister of Notre Dame de Namur piece, where we proclaim how good is the good God. How we educate and empower young women. And how we recognize that all students are unique, and we want them to work to their fullest potential. And that we help our students to learn, live, lead, and serve. We also have what we call the hallmarks. We are one of 124 schools across 5 continents that are either owned, sponsored, or affiliated with the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur. We are very lucky in that the Sisters of Notre Dame have their provincial house right across the street from us. I was talking to a couple a little while ago out front, and we were talking about how one of her biggest highlights was the tour. The freshmen went on a tour of the provincial house. If your daughter hasn't told you about it, ask her about it. It's a fun opportunity for them, and this particular couple was telling me that it was a highlight for their daughter so far this year. We are owned and sponsored by the Order and have been since 1860. In this area, in the Ohio province, Chaminade, Julienne, and Dayton is half owned and sponsored by the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur. They are a merged school, so they are also half owned and sponsored by the Marianists, who also are affiliated with Muller. Muller is affiliated with them. We have two other schools in our area that are affiliated with the Sisters of Notre Dame Dana Moore. Summit Country Day. If you've ever been to Summit Country Day, right on their big arch it says Notre Dame, right across the front of it. And Baden recently affiliated with us. Baden is a merged school from a long time ago, and it started with a Notre Dame Academy in Hamilton, Ohio, and Baden, and they merged together, so they have reaffiliated. Every Notre Dame school follows these 7 hallmarks, and we use these as our themes each year. So this year we are working on hallmark number 2, we honor the dignity and sacredness of each person. And hallmark number 5, we embrace the gift of diversity. So we'll work on one for the first half of the semester and one for the second half of the semester. We choose to do that so that we can hit all 7 in a young lady's career here at Mount Notre Dame. And I'm going to invite Karen to come up and talk about the next 2 slides.
Good evening, everyone. I'd also like to echo a warm welcome and thank you for spending some time with us tonight. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we call the empowerment characteristics, which, while the hallmarks are common to all of the Notre Dame learning communities, these empowerment characteristics, and there are 9, are Mount Notre Dame's way of saying, well, how do we live out that hallmark expression here at Mount Notre Dame? At some schools you might hear the phrase, the grad at graduation, and this would be something similar to that. I think it's most interesting if we step back and look at, well, where did these 9 characteristics come from? You probably know that organizations like Mount Notre Dame, and we engage in strategic plan processes, and several cycles ago, a great conversation took place that I was able to participate in about, well, what does it mean to be an empowered young woman? You know, that's in our mission statement, and wow, you know, that's a great statement that we're making, but really, what does that mean? And you know, as a person who has a master's degree in curriculum and instruction, I said, well, this is like building a curriculum. We have to define that. And so we brought together a wide variety of people, spent really about 2 years taking a look at, well, what is that curriculum going to look like? And these are the characteristics for growth and empowerment that surfaced. What is really, really unique and interesting is that those characteristics were defined at a time where Mount Notre Dame had not yet adopted the hallmarks. And if you sit and compare them side by side, you'll be able, even though they don't numerically match up, you'll be able to see those themes. And so that's comforting to know that we as a Notre Dame organization really were already living out the call to help young women become empowered, and that's what the Notre Dame mission really was across our nation. Things like living out gospel values, pursuing lifelong learning, valuing difference, acting with integrity and purpose, seeking and accepting challenges. These are areas of growth and progress that we are trying to draw out in every student each day, so that when she walks across the stage and has that diploma, and I have the honor of being the first one to hand it to her, and then they get to also meet with Judy on the stage, we are looking at each individual in the eye and saying, she's empowered. And that looks different for each student, and yet also has a commonality for each student. So the pathway is different, but the mission really was the same. And so that curriculum, we hope you will feel is lived out. If we can go, Kyle, to that next slide. So that leads us to our vision as a school. And a vision statement really is that statement that says, you know, what is that big picture that we are striving for? And I think here's what you'll see: empowered to transform the world. That partners with the hallmarks and the empowerment characteristics to say when a student receives a Mount Notre Dame diploma, she really is empowered uniquely in her special pathway to make a difference in our world. And I think we can all agree that, you know, as parents, that's what we want, right? We want our students to be able to go out and live out who God has called them to be to make our world a better place.
So I forgot to tell you earlier, I noticed many of you were looking in your little packets when you receive those, but we do have little, get your very own Mount Notre Dame pen, woohoo, and we also put some paper in there, so if you want to take any notes, we have those in there for you. One of the things we wanted to talk to you about tonight is the president-principal model. This is something that is unique to some Catholic and private high schools in the area and across the nation. This is our 5th year for Karen and I to work under this model, although this model has been used at Mount Notre Dame for a very long time. So I want to talk to you for a minute about my role as a president. And the two gentlemen I talked to out there earlier, and I said, okay, you'll learn more about it here. Well, now is the time. So I have under me 5 charges. I work with enrollment, marketing, and finance and operations, with all 3 of those to attract families to Mount Notre Dame. And then I work with Karen in academics and with advancement with Rose in building relationships, which is one reason we asked you to be here tonight. My key responsibilities, next, thanks Kyle, include what you can see on the screen above. I am a servant leader, which means I'm here to help you and support the staff. In finance, I make sure that we have financial sustainability and good stewardship of our money. I make sure our mission is at the forefront of what we do. I love being a missionary and a visionary, talking about planning for the future. I also work on promoting philanthropy, identifying and stewarding families and friends that might want to invest in our school, and of course, building community. I'm going to turn it over to Karen. She's going to talk about her role as principal, and then Rose is going to follow with her role as advancement.
Well, it's my great blessing to be able to serve as principal here, and I'll say it's my 28th year here at Mount Notre Dame, so this is truly my home, and I hope that it becomes your home too. I'd like to say I only have two key roles, right? They're kind of big though. So my first and primary role is really to partner with Judy to make sure that this great gift of leading out the Mount Notre Dame mission is really done so with a singular vision. All of the roles that she oversees, and then the secondary role that I do, which is the day-to-day life of the school, really need to work in partnership. And that partnership, which you are so involved in, is outlined below. Really, the faculty, the students, and the parents really are another key partnership, and that I hope you will see through the next things that we talk about are the ways that we make this educational environment come to life. So in the day-to-day life, and you can go ahead, Kyle, these are the things that I am doing as principal, bringing out that day-to-day life of the school. So building a synergy in 3 pillar areas of development, which we're going to go into depth in just a few minutes, so I'm going to gloss over that at the moment. Generate relationships for this growth mindset. We are working here at Mount Notre Dame on a professional learning community model. It's our third year of studying and learning, but 2nd year really of implementation. You are blessed to be in a school with the best faculty possible, and they have really delved into this process wholeheartedly, learning to have conversations in a different model than sometimes other schools are having. So we are really in that growth mindset. I'm working on helping to bring innovation and creativity to our classrooms, to our programs, trying to generate new and exciting ways for students to learn. That includes often technology and how we can use technology to further the students' learning. Technology is not the end-all be-all, but it is a tremendous resource. And of course, in our society, we have to know how to live with it and work with it. So that is a key effort. Communication, hopefully by now you know we have lots of communication that you can read and participate in. We're trying some new models this year, and if ever you feel that you're not clear on that communication, feel free to reach out. And then I do have a crossover piece to Judy's area, which is with admissions. So you know, this blending of being involved in the recruitment process to come to Mount Notre Dame. Then there's this transition process that we're working on, and that's important for the families as well as the students. So definitely a partnership between Donna Groney, our admissions director, Judy, and myself to implement that. So if we go to these development pillars, the girls will say, you know, the 3 pillars, and they refer to them as people, and I am going to explain that they do kind of coordinate with the 3 additional administrator roles that we have here at Mount Notre Dame. Mount Notre Dame is committed to a holistic growth process in these 3 key areas: spiritual development, academic development, and then what we call student development, which is everything else. That includes safety and environment and clubs and spirit and activities, premier programs that we'll talk about here in a few minutes. So it's these 3 pillars that really we can't say one's more important than the other. They all are equally important to the future growth of your daughters and also to who we are as a school. So let's delve into those a little bit. First and foremost, spiritual development. Who we are as an institution really stems from the fact that we are a Catholic faith-based school. And so this pillar of development is chaired by our Director of Campus Ministry, Kelly Albany Crosby, who hopefully many of you have met before. And she leads a team of 4, well, she's one of the 4, but there are 4 campus ministers who oversee things like liturgy and prayer. So ways to get involved in masses and prayer services, the sacraments that we offer here are reconciliation and Eucharist. We have a morning communion prayer service that is student-led, and it does have communion that students of any faith can participate in attending the prayer service. So Kelly Albany Crosby leads that portion of our campus ministry. We have community service. I think by now you should know we are a school that has a culture of service. We have events that are small and you can be involved in a one-time event, or we have things that are year-long community service events, and then we also have experiential trips to rural communities or urban plunges. So lots of ways to get involved in community service, and your daughters certainly will have touch points just by being a student here, even if they choose not to get into one of the year-long programs. Todd Foreman is our Director of Community Service, and he partners with many, many people to implement that. Multicultural engagement. Nick Hosmer is our campus minister for multicultural engagement. He also helps with retreats and community service, and you know, you saw it in our hallmarks and in our empowerment characteristics, and it is who we are as a community to value the worth of each person. And so this ministry helps us live that out day to day. And then finally, retreats. We have a full-time retreat director who also helps with community service, and Monin. And your daughters, did they have a good time on their, on the freshman retreat? Hopefully you saw a little video there. They were having a great time. It's important that they get together in environments where they can be spiritual and build community. And so we like to have that each and every year. Academic development. So this pillar obviously is the biggest one, and there are 2 of us that actually work on this. So Mr. Ben Hunt is our assistant principal for academic development. He also teaches a couple classes still, and then I also work on the academic development pillar. Ben is in his 2nd year in this role, and it's a great testament to the programming and the faculty that we have, as well as the strong enrollment that we have, that we were able to bring on a 2nd person to keep this area strong. So this is all things curriculum and instruction. The wide variety of courses that we can offer to your daughters, individuality and building that schedule down to, you know, course by course, what is the best for each student. Ways to meet the individual learners, whether it's through some of our programs that challenge our top cognitive students, providing supports for all students and their variety of learning needs, partnering with our guidance department, which really has a dual purpose. So the first purpose in our guidance department is to build that road to college and the collegiate process, preparing for standardized testing. We do that through our 4 school counselors and our testing coordinator are working on all of those programs. I'll mention the other part of that process in the next slide. We have specialized academic programs, things like our STEM development, or the way that we are implementing our tablet PC program, or even the way that we utilize the block scheduling, which is a very collegiate model to that. So all of these things fall under this academic development. Are you getting used to the block schedule yet? Yeah. Yes. I know a couple of parents are saying, like, they don't seem to have as much homework, and it might be related to just the slower pace of a block schedule. The content is still there, so they should be studying. And then we have our student, or sometimes we call this the personal development, you know, the things that are not spiritual, non-academic, but are still important to this development stage of the teen young woman. So this is where the MAP program falls, and our goal setting and our capstone process, which is the last year of our MAP program. Let me go back and say this is our assistant principal for student development is Judy Metcalf, and you may have already met her also. So this MAP program was the partner program to those empowerment characteristics. How are we going to take that curriculum and live that out? So we needed a program to kind of wrap around that. The MAP program exists seamlessly. It's not a course, so it's just part of coming to Mount Notre Dame, part of the experience. Our guidance department, I mentioned they have this duality to them, so they are involved in the academics, but they're also involved in the social emotional wellness part of your daughter's development. So those same 4 school counselors are working with your daughters on these skill sets, as well as our new health and wellness counselor that we have this year, so to implement the skill set of being a strong woman in this day and age. Global exchanges and programs that allow students to learn more about our broader community. We have several exchange trips and opportunities through some clubs to get involved and actually travel, but we're also bringing the world into Mount Notre Dame. So right now we have our 5 exchange students from Spain here in our building, and so we're looking at ways of how can we get them involved with the students who are here, since not every student can go on an exchange. Premier programs, these are our bigger programs of athletics, dance, and theater. So ways to get involved in a program that is not just supplementary, but really is a parallel program to what we're doing here at school. Co-curriculars and clubs, so things like Latin Club or Art Club, and these things are just kicking up now, and your daughter should be getting involved in learning more about those. The great thing about Mount Notre Dame clubs is that you can kind of pop in and out as your schedule allows, and so encourage your daughters as they're getting used to school environment to try something new. Okay, we're very open to exploring and finding interests. And then school spirit. Did they have a good time at Ruha? Yes. It's hard to explain until they've been through it, so I said if you just ask them, they'll explain it. Great spirit here amongst the girls. They bring the school to life, and they help us see every day the goodness of God, which is certainly what St. Julie would call us to do. And at that, I'm going to turn it over to Rose.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Karen. It's really nice to see all of you. So many of you come out tonight. We really do appreciate your time. Judy asked me to speak to you tonight because another really important part of Catholic and private school high schools is our development programs. I'm the Director of Advancement here at Mount Notre Dame and also the mom of a 2008 graduate. The role of advancement is to provide financial investment and meaningful engagement opportunities to all of you, to all our alums, and to all those who belong to the Mount Notre Dame community. My team, of which there are 8 of us, ensures that all gifts to Mount Notre Dame support our school's mission, that each benefactor's specific gift wishes are fully realized and recognized, and that all financial gifts are stewarded appropriately. Each year, Advancement is responsible for investments to the annual giving fund, which supports immediate needs of our school. It provides the funding needed to fill the gap between the cost of tuition and the actual cost of running our school. This currently equates to about $4,200 per student. The AGF, that, as we call it, directly supports academics, athletics, pastoral ministry, and so much more. Most significantly, the AGF supports families in need of financial assistance. Almost 1/2 of our families receive need some help in paying their tuition. The annual giving fund kicks off this week and runs all the way through June 30th. All members of the Mount Notre Dame community are asked to consider some type of gift that is meaningful to you. You will be receiving a mailing soon asking you to prayerfully consider investing in Mount Notre Dame beyond your MND tuition dollars. Please keep in mind that no gift to Mount Notre Dame is too small, and every gift is greatly needed and greatly appreciated. In the spirit of teaching our girls to give back to Mount Notre Dame, their school, they are also invited to support the AGF with a small gift out of not your pocket, but their pocket. It might be as simple as giving up a snack, a latte in the morning, a burrito in the afternoon. We're asking for a $5 cash donation from your students, and they will be learning all about the importance of giving back to their school so that the next generation will be here to enjoy the same benefits that they're receiving at Mount Notre Dame. And this will happen sometime in the month of November. So I ask you to please have them be aware of that and to support their school in that way. At this time, I'd like to introduce my friend and a great friend of the Mount Notre Dame community, a current parent, a past parent, a past board member, a current board member, to share just very briefly his story about why he supports Mount Notre Dame and our annual giving fund. Tony Reed and his lovely wife, Jenny, who is also here tonight. Jenny, you want to wave? Okay. They are this year's annual giving fund chairs. Please welcome Tony Reed.
Thank you very much, Rose. Thank you very much for allowing us to join you this evening. Jenny and I are very honored to join you tonight for this special evening, first of its kind, and also to chair this year's annual giving campaign. I'll tell you, I'm an engineer. I work for Procter & Gamble. I went the technical career path, which means I don't really like doing this kind of stuff. But I believe in MND so much that, and I have such a passion for MND and the mission that I'm willing to get up and spend a few minutes with you this evening. I was asked to share a little bit about our story at MND over the years. And it started a little over 12 years ago. Much like many of you, with our oldest daughter coming here as a freshman, Mindy. Much like you, this was a new experience for a lot of us. I saw a lot of the hands go up at the beginning. And so it was very new for us. In fact, we grew up in Arizona, and the whole Catholic school thing out in this area was completely new to us. We had no idea what we were getting into as we started to get into this. I think some of you can relate to that, right? We could not have anticipated how impactful this journey would be for us and our family. We've had 4 daughters go to MND. Mindy, class of 2011, Natalie, class of 2013, Julie, class of 2015, and now Mary, who is here as a sophomore, class of 2022. One of the things that we value the most about MND is how MND really has tailored education to bring the best out of each one of our daughters. Our daughters are very different, but MND really helped them achieve the best versions of themselves over the years. We had a daughter that was a National Merit Scholar. We have a daughter that excelled in art and loved theater. We have a daughter that loves animals. And then we have a daughter that's still trying to figure out what her passions are. But MND helped each one of them achieve their full potential. I won't tell you everything was perfect. I mean, high school years are tough. Our daughters certainly had their challenges and struggles along the way. We had our ups and downs as families and personally. But one of the things that really is unique about MND is the charism of St. Julie and that underlying value that Judy and Rose and Karen all talked about as they were up here. It pervades every element of the school. You really do see it every day in the lives of the school. And it creates a culture unlike anything that we've ever experienced in our lives. A personal experience for me that really brings all this home. Almost 12 years ago, like I said, we were joining here. I was a new dad at MND. And we really didn't know the community very well. Our oldest daughter was a freshman here. She was blazing a new path for our family. And then it was about this time of year, in October, on a beautiful fall day, I was running on the treadmill at our house, and I had a major heart attack from a spontaneous blood clot. So it seems like after 12 years I should be able to talk this and not get choked up. But the thing that really stands out in my memory of MND at that time, and I think Judy actually mentioned this, was really the next day. We really had no idea what my prognosis was going to be that next morning, but Mindy came to school. And when she got here that morning, all of her friends were waiting out front for her, and they took her straight to the communion prayer, and they sat there and prayed with her. And I can't tell you what a difference that made for her in getting through that time and that difficult period for us as a family. And really, that exemplified every element of MND that we have experienced over these many years. And we've seen it with many other people in the family. I mean, we've lost, over the years, we've seen MND parents sadly pass. We've seen young ladies pass. And every time you see just such a spirit in this community that you just don't see anyplace else. We've had daughters that have struggled over the years. We had a daughter that suffered depression and anxiety, literally spent hours in Judy Metcalf's office just talking. We've been to countless theater banquets and countless shows, capstone presentations. They're all just great examples of the spirit and camaraderie that you see here at MND and the passion and mission. One thing I think is really cool is the addition of a health and wellness and mental health counselor this year. I mean, it's just another example of how MND is really embracing the whole self of our daughters and making sure that they thrive. What a blessing for all of us. It seems like everyone these days is talking about empowerment, especially empowering young women, but MND has been doing that for almost 160 years. Every year, I've been volunteering as a capstone panelist for the capstone presentations. I think they were mentioned briefly at the end of the senior year. And I'll tell you, for me, it really is a selfish reason to come and attend these because it gives me hope for the future. You cannot sit there and listen to these capstone presentations and not feel that these young women are truly going to transform this world in a way that none of us have. And it's just truly inspiring to see it. And I hope all of you get a chance to experience that multiple times. I can't wait till these young women are out there changing the world. I've been involved, like Rose said, in MND since that first year. Really felt the passion and mission to be here. I've been on the Facilities and Technology Committee over the years. I've been on the board for 7 years and was board chairman for 2, and now I'm back on the board again with our youngest as we continue into the future. Jenny and I really do see an investment in MND as an investment in the future, and we've been so blessed to see the experiences that our daughters have had. You know, one of the things that we're really passionate about, especially as our daughters are getting older, is that we see the same environment and opportunity for future young women. We want every young woman that wants to come into MND have that opportunity and have that ability to experience it regardless of financial ability. And it really, really speaks to the St. Julie's passion and mission to all of us to make sure that all young women have the ability to experience a quality education, holistically across their lives. Again, welcome all of you. We're very excited to have you part of this community, and we really hope that you experience MND the way we have as our family, and our prayers are with all of you, your daughters, as you embark on this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. To kind of sum up what I was talking about a little bit, our AGF operates like a checking account and is an important short-term investment to Mount Notre Dame. Long-term investments are called endowment dollars, and they operate like a savings account. Endowed dollars allow for only the interest that is earned to be used to support the specific requests of the benefactor. The investment itself is never depleted. Investing in a named endowed scholarship or program fund, or creating a new one of your own, is a very personal way to ensure that Mount Notre Dame remains financially sustainable. Having a healthy endowment is essential for Mount Notre Dame's future, and for all nonprofit organizations for that matter. Outside this theater is our wall of endowed scholarships. I really invite you to take a look at it when you walk out. As you walk out the door, it's off to the left. In the coming weeks, there will be 22 new tiles added to that wall. Our hope is in the next few years, we will have over 100 named endowed scholarships from Mount Notre Dame, very much help solidifying our future. And we hope that you will consider perhaps naming an endowed scholarship for you and your family if you are in that type of position. Now the fun stuff. Every March, we have what has traditionally been known as the Grand Gala for Mount Notre Dame. It's our big fun fundraiser, our dinner auction. This year, after 20 years, Mount Notre Dame's Grand Gala has been re-envisioned, providing a whole new experience. The new gala will come alive on March 7th at Kings Island's Fest House. Imagine being able to drive your car down International Street while the Eiffel Tower shines in cougar blue like never before. Imagine an evening where Cincinnati favorites are served at stations and trendy games and adult beverages keep guests up and moving throughout the evening. Imagine not only sitting with your friends, but making new friends while enjoying a live auction filled with exciting and unique experiences. If I have intrigued you, please come. Get your friends and family together, and please enjoy a night you will never forget. You can be assured that we'll be providing all the details in the coming months on the gala. Right around the corner is our Fall Into Fashion show. This is Mom's Night Out. Have to be 18, by the way, to go. And this event has actually been moved this year to the Manor House, and I promise you it's going to be a blast. It includes crowd favorites like specialty ladies drinks, a cupcake raffle, basket raffles, lots of shopping, and of course our famous runway show. If you've never seen it, you got to be there. You got to be there. If you haven't already made your reservations, please do so soon. We almost always sell out. I'd like to close by thanking all of you for the opportunity to address you. I wish you and of course your beautiful daughters a wonderful year, and I personally welcome you officially to the Mount Notre Dame family. And at this time, I turn it over to Judy Gerwe to finish up the evening.
Thank you, Rose. So the advancement program is very important at the high school level, with almost $1 million in annual investments and long-term investments that include endowment, restricted giving, and planned giving. You hopefully have been reading about our current campaign. You may also have seen the picture, the rendition that's right outside the door here. Our campaign has two parts. It's the now part, which includes facility improvements. I hope you had an opportunity to stop at our new Learning Commons in the academic wing when you were here for Meet the Teacher Night. And we have plans to create a performing arts center right here in this space in the near future. The forever part of our campaign includes growing our endowment, which is what Rose was talking about, how we're adding 22 more tiles that came from our campaign. We are still in the major gift phase of our campaign. We'd love to speak with any of you who are interested. Pictured in this slide are our campaign co-chairs, Kathy Kissel McQueen, a graduate from the class of '81, and her husband, Michael. As I was reflecting on yesterday's gospel reading, I thought of how appropriate it was for this evening. Let me jog your memory. The gospel reading yesterday was from Luke, and it recalled Jesus' parable about the rich man who had to prepare an account of his stewardship. We are all called to be good stewards, whether it is stewarding our time, our talent, or our treasures. So I ask you to please do what you can. Volunteer, attend events, support the annual giving fund, be an ambassador for Mount Notre Dame in the community. And you can actually start that tonight by grabbing one of those open house signs at the door on your way out and putting it in your front yard. We would really appreciate that. I want to thank you so much for coming out tonight. The three of us will be available for any questions or comments that you might have, and I believe the Spirit Shop may be open if you want to stop in there. I encourage you to reach out to us at any time. We are here to partner with you. We're excited to have you. I hope you learned a few things tonight, and please, next time we invite you out, please call out. We'd love to see you again. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great night.